Right now, a story of survival as a journalist and Stoughton native speaks out about his harrowing experience being stranded in the Norwegian wilderness. And the FBI raids the home of former National Security Advisor John Bolton. What agents are saying was the reason behind it. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this Friday afternoon. Josh will be back on Monday. We begin today with breaking news where the Platteville Police Department is searching for a missing elderly woman and asking for help. Camilla Fischler was last seen at around 9 p.m. yesterday on the 200 block of Tamarack Trace. At the time, she told her daughter that she wanted to go see her family home near Lancaster. Sometime before 7 this morning, she left her home without telling her family. The family home near Lancaster has been checked, but there was no sign of Camilla. She has been exhibiting signs of early onset dementia. She is driving a silver Dodge Journey with license plate AWZ 4834. If you see the vehicle or if you see Camilla, please call the Platteville Police Department at the number on your screen. To continuing coverage now of the Abundant Life Christian school shooting, a judge ruled that Jeffrey Ruppnow, the father of the shooter, may attend his daughter's celebration of life without violating his bond. His bond prohibits any contact with Abundant Life Christian School, but the judge clarified that Ruppnow can inform them about the planned celebration of life. The judge also ordered Ruppnow to continue wearing an ankle monitor. However, the judge did not rule on the new motion to dismiss his case, which was filed earlier this week. That hearing is scheduled for December. Continuing coverage of a triple homicide in New Lisbon, including emotional reactions from a parent of one of the victims. Jerry Sorensen is searching for answers as he mourns his 13-year-old daughter, Skyla. A criminal complaint says Virgil Thu shot and killed Skyla, Elizabeth Kolba, and 12-year-old Alex Taylor just days before the start of this year. Police searched for Thu for a week. Seeing Thu in court brought back many emotions for Sorensen.
I was okay until he was allowed to look at us. Seeing his face made me go from 0 to 1,000. Yeah, Berto's my flesh and blood. Did I expect that? Never. Or them girls wouldn't have been there.
According to family members, Thu and Skyla are biological cousins. Kolba and Thu were in a relationship, and Alex Taylor is a family friend. Thu is due back in court in October. The journalist and Stoughton native that went missing for 6 days in a remote Norwegian glacier is sharing his survival story. Alex Lund set out for a 4-day hike in a remote national park where cell service was spotty at best. But things went wrong quickly. One wrong step on a broken boot sent him tumbling down the side of a mountain. He lost all of his belongings, including his phone and his water supply. Stranded, hungry, and dehydrated, Alec had to drink his own urine in order to survive. And then he caught a glimpse of hope.
At this point, I was hearing a lot of auditory hallucinations, and I heard this kind of heavenly music behind the helicopter as it was coming up towards me, and then the helicopter was maybe 500 yards away from me, but it was just positioned right, just scanning the mountainside very, very slowly, and it didn't see me, and then it flew away, and I thought, either they're just refueling or something, or I just missed my one shot.
Lund says this harrowing experience gave him a new lease on life. Remarkable story. Thank goodness he's okay. To the weather now, where conditions are beautiful today and staying mostly dry for the weekend. Blaze Keller has a look at the weekend forecast. Blaze?
That's right. Beautiful today and beautiful conditions pretty much through the extended forecast. We may squeeze out a shower tonight, but for the most part, many of us are going to stay dry. We're beginning to slip into the 80s around the Dells. We're closely following behind in Camp Douglas along the Wisconsin River, stretching from Lone Rock into Prairie du Chien. We're in the upper 70s. Madison and pretty much everybody else in Dane County hanging out in those mid to upper 70s. Closer to Sauk City, we are coming in closer to 80 degrees. Cross Plains at 78, and we're at 76 in Edgerton. We got a little bit of cloud cover out there, mix of sunshine and some cloudy conditions, what we were expecting. Clouds are likely going to increase a little bit as we head further into the overnight hours as this latest cold front begins to move closer to our neck of the woods. While we're not in any severe weather outlook this evening, we are maybe going to squeeze out a shower or two as we get closer to that midnight hour through at least the early morning hours on Saturday. But notice there's not a lot of green on Future Track. Not everyone is going to see these showers or maybe even a light thunderstorm. That will wrap up as we go into the more or less time that many of us will probably be waking up on Saturday in those right around 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. Winds will be out of the northwest, making for a very pleasant rest of Saturday and further into Sunday. Now, the nice conditions continue through the extended forecast. We're going to look at just how cool we will be and how long the taste of fall will last. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you. FBI agents carried out a raid on the home of a former national security advisor who has been highly critical of President Trump. Agents executed a search warrant at the Bethesda, Maryland home of John Bolton, who served as national security advisor during Trump's first term. FBI agents were also seen coming out of his Washington, D.C. office. CBS News has learned the warrants are related to a search for classified material.
He's not a smart guy, but he could be a very unpatriotic guy. I mean, we're going to find out. I know nothing about it. I just saw it this morning. They did a raid.
President Trump fired Bolton in 2019. The administration also sued to block him from publishing a book in 2020, claiming it contained classified material. The Biden administration closed that investigation and dropped the lawsuit. Bolton, a Republican, also served in several other government roles, including ambassador to the UN under President George W. Bush. The public might soon have access to unreleased files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The Justice Department is set to start releasing them to the House Oversight Committee today. The committee's chair says the panel will check the redactions and then make the files public. The Justice Department argues that further disclosure isn't appropriate, saying the files contain sensitive information about victims. A Democrat on the Oversight Committee says he doesn't think victims are who the DOJ is protecting. WISC-TV and Television Wisconsin have completed a major upgrade to our over-the-air broadcasting system with 2 new transmitters, and that means if you watch us with an over-the-air antenna, you'll need to rescan your TV to get the clearer picture. To do that, open your TV's menu, select Settings, then choose Channel Scan or Auto Tune. We also have these instructions at channel3000.com. If you watch us on cable, satellite, or streaming, you don't need to make any changes to your TV. Still to come today at noon, the recall on frozen shrimp due to possible radioactive contamination is growing larger today. We'll have the details on that. Plus, the fallout from Cracker Barrel after a controversial logo change.
More frozen shrimp have been recalled due to possible radioactive contamination. Southwind Foods is recalling batches of frozen shrimp sold in 9 states under multiple brand names, including Sandbar, Best Yet, and Arctic Shores. The FDA is investigating an Indonesia-based processing company that has been linked to the contamination. Consumers are urged to throw away the products or return them to the place of purchase for a full refund. Fans of Severance, The Morning Show, and other popular Apple shows are going to have to pay more to watch them soon. Apple TV Plus says it's hiking its monthly fee for U.S. subscribers to $12.99, up from $9.99. The yearly price will remain at $99.99. And what's in a logo? Apparently, tens of millions of dollars in market value when it comes to Cracker Barrel. Thursday, the company's stock took a nosedive, shedding more than $90 million in market value after a controversial logo change. Conservative commentators have lashed out at the new look, which removes the iconic barrel and image of the man in the logo, known as Uncle Herschel. The update comes as Cracker Barrel has also begun redesigning its restaurants. Earlier this week, the company said in a statement, "Our values haven't changed, and the heart and soul of Cracker Barrel haven't changed." That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
Thank you, Jesse. Let's see how stocks are faring at midday as we get ready to wrap up the work week. The Dow is up 900 points. The Nasdaq is up 375. The S&P is up 93. A great opportunity today if you need some help. Our call for action volunteers are in the building, taking your complaints and taking action on your behalf. You can call for action at 608-270-2833, or you can submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call for action. We'll check in with Pam Yankee. She has the ag markets when we come back, and Blaze returns with the weekend forecast. Plus, later this afternoon on Live at 4, a local blues musician shares his story about continuing to bring music to our area after overcoming a life-threatening diagnosis. That's today on Live at 4. Let's check in with Pam Yankee for the Midwest Farm Report. Hey, Pam, TGIF, how are you doing?
Absolutely, Susie Q. I agree with you completely. Looking forward to heading up to Green Bay as soon as I get done with my markets and hope for a victory tomorrow night against Seattle. In the meantime, it was a real victory for rural Southwest Wisconsin. Yesterday was kind of the official public grand opening for the Lafayette Hospital and Clinic in Darlington. I'll tell you what, so proud of these folks. They started this project back in 2023. What they've got now is a brand new state-of-the-art 84,000 square foot hospital facility that replaced a hospital that had been built back in 1952 and really didn't get a chance for much of an upgrade since then. It took a lot of collaboration to get all that money pulled together. Compeer Financial, which is normally known as an ag lender, stepped in to get some USDA grants as well as financing packages for about $51 million in construction costs they needed. Jack Sauer, who is the chairman of the county board and chairman of the hospital committee, says it's probably the proudest moment he's had in the 24 years that he's been a public servant, trying to get this across the finish line. He's also thinking about the staff. That's been one of the real challenges that a lot of rural Wisconsin hospitals and clinics face, trying to attract doctors and staff and getting them to stay. Well, Sauer says that they are working with doctors and paying them up to $50,000 of their schooling costs as an incentive to not only come to the hospital, but stay with the hospital. Well done. I am so glad to see that. And it's not just about that small community. Sauer says they are turning into a regional location where people will now be able to turn for quality health care. They're a level 4 trauma center, which means instead of having to ride an ambulance from Southwest Wisconsin to Madison or something like that, they will be able to get some of that care closer. Well done. Milk production figures came out yesterday from USDA. 24 major dairy producing states, including Wisconsin, up about 3.5% in July milk. Probably coming at the right time, though. Mike North, one of the dairy specialists with Everegg in Platteville, says stop and think about it. Kids are going back to school, so milk demand is going up there. We've got football on the horizon, pizza consumption, and all the cheese trays that are going out also helping to pick up some of that slack. So again, Wisconsin dairy farmers had about a 1% increase in their July milk production. California up about 4%. Dairy today with those numbers in mind. The barrel cheese dropped a nickel down to $1.76. 40-pound block cheese drops 3 cents to $1.75. The AA butter today down just a half a cent, $2.23.5 per pound. And on that note, Susie Q, go Pack Go. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend for a game.
Enjoy it, Pam. Good to see you. We'll see you on Monday. Have fun. And let's head over to Blaze for a look at the forecast. Speaking of football, it's going to be perfect for high school football tonight.
That is right. We are looking at some very pleasant conditions as we head into this evening and really throughout the weekend. We're going to take a look at that graphic I was just making because it's going to illustrate how we're going to get cooler, and parts of Canada, even the Arctic Circle, are going to get much warmer than we are going to be. So bigger picture wise, this is what a snapshot of what the atmosphere is going to be looking like as we kick off next week. Notice a lot of these oranges are into parts of Canada, and we're underneath more of these greens and these yellows. We're taking that cooler air to make room for this influx or this moving in of warm Pacific air. And it's not going away anytime soon next week. Look at how far north those oranges and those yellows get, which means just as far south, the cooler air is likely going to be. So we'll take a look at what future track temperatures in Canada next week are going to look like, just to illustrate how much warmer they're going to be compared to us, because we have to take their cooler air. But this is the reason why we're getting this taste of fall right now, because a lot of Pacific warmer air is going to be moving into parts of Canada where it would normally be probably what we're going to be feeling as we go into next week. Now, this pocket of cooler air is going to push further into the Ohio River Valley as we go into the likely end of August into the start of September. We're beginning to see less of the darker blues over parts of the Midwest. We'll still likely trend cooler than average through at least the start of September, but the confidence level is starting to push further south and eastward following that pocket of cooler air. So if we jump ahead into likely the first real few days of September, we're starting to trend more seasonal, right where we should be for this time of year. Notice, though, that these oranges are starting to kind of wrap around the Midwest. So likely what's going to happen is a big area of high pressure is going to be here. It's going to pull down that cooler air, and then wrapping around it, southerly winds return that warmer air. You saw that at the beginning of the weathercast, all those oranges pushing into Canada. That's that warmer air right there. So this influx of cooler air, this moving in of cooler air, is also going to bring down some drier conditions as well. Those dew points are going to be comfortable, not even picking up in our noticeable category there as we head into the start of next week. So definitely cut the AC, open up the windows, let in some fresh air. We're looking at a cooler than average trend through at least the next 7 days. Some of these, in 10 days actually, some of these numbers may change a little bit because as we continue to make our way through next week, our average high is going to decrease as well. So maybe it's not going to be as great of a temperature difference, but we are still looking to be cooler than average over the next 7 to 10 days. So maybe we end August on a normal note. Right now we're about a degree warmer than average from the start of the month through yesterday's date. With this stretch of cooler than average air, it'll be very interesting to see how it all pans out. So there is a look at our 10-day forecast. And again, I just want to show you, I'll stop it here at about Wednesday of next week, because that's when a lot of these warmer temperatures are expected to be into parts of the Arctic Circle there. And again, we're looking at temperatures near the Arctic Circle in the mid-70s, Susan, and we're going to be in the low 60s. So you can see where that warmer air is going and where that cooler air is going to be. Us cooler, Canada much warmer.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Blaze, thanks. Coming up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
We all hear how good beans are for us. So let me share one of my favorite recipes that highlights a bean that's super popular, yet is often left out of most bean recipes. Any ideas? I love beans. And when I say beans, I mean every kind. Everything from green beans and baked beans, which make the perfect side dishes, to navy and kidney beans that are perfect in our soups. But my all-time favorite bean is probably the cocoa bean. Yeah, the cocoa bean. According to the dictionary, chocolate is a food prepared from ground roasted cocoa beans. So, if chocolate is made from beans, and beans are a vegetable, wouldn't it make sense that chocolate is a vegetable too? I think it is. So now, let me show you one of my favorite bean recipes. To make this chocolate zucchini bread, we combine some flour, sugar, baking powder, and baking soda, cinnamon, salt, and cocoa. In another bowl, we mix together a good amount of grated zucchini, a few eggs, vegetable oil, a bunch of pecans, and a splash of vanilla. This gets mixed with our dry ingredients, and into a couple of loaf pans it goes. After it bakes and has cooled, it's ready to slice and serve. And since this makes 2 tasty loaves, you can eat one and gift the other. To get the recipe for our chocolate zucchini bread, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a chocolatey veggie way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
There you go, Blaze. Chocolate is a vegetable.
Oh, you heard it here first, and that's all I need. Now I'm going to only eat chocolate to get my daily vegetables. Perfect timing. It is lunchtime. I am hungry, and that zucchini bread looked great. We are going to continue to remain quiet as we head throughout the rest of the evening, but overnight into the early morning hours on Saturday, the cold front passes, and we may squeeze out a shower, but I think most of us are going to be dry before we go into a very pleasant weekend, which is leading into a very pleasant fall-like start to next week. Plenty of sunshine all throughout next week with temperatures in the mid to upper 60s for highs on Monday and Tuesday. Look at those overnight lows, upper 40s, low 50s, low humidity. Enjoy it, folks, while it is here.
Nice stuff. Thank you, Blaze. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Hope to see you back here for Live at 4.